Welcome back to Golden Greats. Released in 1956, The Ten Commandments became one of the most spectacular epics ever brought to the silver screen. With legendary performances, breathtaking scenes, and a story that inspired generations, it helped define Hollywood's golden age. But time has claimed every star who helped bring this masterpiece to life. Today, we'll revisit the cast of The Ten Commandments, then and now, and remember the remarkable legacy they left behind. Moses was played by Charlton Heston, who was born in 1923 in Wilmette, Illinois. At 33 years old during the film's 1956 release, he brought strength, authority, and unforgettable presence to one of cinema's most iconic roles. Charlton Heston died in 2008 at the age of 84 after battling Alzheimer's disease. Throughout his remarkable career, he starred in numerous epic films and became one of Hollywood's most recognizable leading men. For many movie lovers, Charlton Heston is Moses. His commanding performance helped transform The Ten Commandments into a timeless classic that continues to inspire audiences generations later. Dathan was played by Edward G. Robinson, who was born in 1893 in Bucharest, Romania. At age 63 during the film's release, he brought intensity, ambition, and dramatic power to one of the story's most memorable antagonists, Edward G. Robinson passed away in 1973 at the age of 79 from bladder cancer. A legendary figure of classic Hollywood, he appeared in more than 100 films during a career spanning 5 decades. While Moses stood for faith and leadership, Dathan represented doubt and rebellion. Robinson's powerful performance helped create some of the film's most compelling dramatic conflicts. Joshua was played by John Derrick, who was born in 1926 in Hollywood, California. At 30 years old during the film's 1956 release, he brought courage, loyalty, and youthful determination to Moses' trusted follower. John Derrick passed away in 1998 at the age of 71 by cardiovascular disease. Beyond the Ten Commandments, he enjoyed a successful career as an actor, director, and photographer in Hollywood. Joshua represented the next generation of leadership in the story. His unwavering devotion to Moses helped reinforce the themes of faith, perseverance, and destiny that made the film so enduring. Sephora was played by Yvonne De Carlo, who was born in 1922 in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. At age 34 during the film's release, she brought grace, strength, and compassion to Moses' devoted wife. Yvonne De Carlo passed away in 2007 at the age of 84 after suffering heart failure. Throughout her long career, she appeared in numerous films and television series, becoming one of Hollywood's most recognizable actresses. Sephora added warmth and humanity to an epic story filled with monumental events. Her relationship with Moses reminded audiences that even legendary figures are shaped by love, family, and sacrifice. Bethia was played by Nina Foch, who was born in 1924 in Leiden, Netherlands. She was 32 years old when The Ten Commandments was released, portraying the compassionate Egyptian princess who raised Moses as her son. Nina Foch passed away in 2008 at the age of 84 due to complications related to myelodysplasia. In addition to acting, she became a respected acting teacher whose influence extended to generations of performers. Bethia's choice changed the course of the entire story. Her kindness and courage helped shape the future leader of Israel, giving the film one of its most meaningful emotional foundations. Sethi was played by Cedric Hardwicke, who was born in 1893 in Lye, Worcestershire, England. At 63 years old during the film's 1956 release, he brought authority, wisdom, and royal presence to the aging pharaoh of Egypt. Cedric Hardwicke passed away in 1964 at the age of 71 from emphysema. A distinguished stage and screen actor, he enjoyed a remarkable career that spanned both British and American entertainment. As the ruler who raised Moses as a prince, Sethi stood at the center of the story's early conflict. His performance helped establish the grandeur and emotional depth that defined the film. Memnet was played by Judith Anderson, who was born in 1897 in Adelaide, Australia. At age 59 during the film's release, she brought intensity, mystery, and dramatic weight to one of the story's pivotal characters. Judith Anderson passed away in 1992 at the age of 94 from pneumonia. Widely regarded as one of the finest actresses of her generation, she earned acclaim across theater, film, and television. Though her screen time was limited, Memnet played a crucial role in revealing Moses' true origins. Her unforgettable scenes became part of the chain of events that changed the destiny of an entire nation. Yachabel was played by Martha Scott, who was born in 1912 in Jamesport, Missouri. She was 44 years old when the Ten Commandments was released, portraying Moses' devoted birth mother with dignity and emotional strength. Martha Scott passed away in 2003 at the age of 90. Throughout her celebrated career, she earned recognition for powerful performances on stage, television, and in major motion pictures. Yachabel's love and sacrifice formed one of the story's emotional foundations. Her determination to protect her child gave audiences a powerful reminder of courage in the face of impossible choices. Baca was played by Vincent Price, who was born in 1911 in St. Louis, Missouri. At 45 years old during the film's 1956 release, he brought arrogance, cruelty, and commanding presence to the ruthless Egyptian overseer. Vincent Price passed away in 1993 at the age of 82 by lung cancer. Beyond the Ten Commandments, he became one of cinema's most legendary actors, particularly celebrated for his unforgettable performances in classic horror films. Baca embodied the oppression Moses was destined to confront. Price's powerful screen presence helped make the character one of the film's most memorable villains and reinforced the story's struggle between tyranny and freedom. Miriam was played by Olive Dearing, who was born in 1918 in New York City. She was 38 years old when The Ten Commandments was released, portraying Moses' devoted sister with warmth, faith, and unwavering loyalty. Olive Dearing passed away in 1986 at the age of 67 after a battle with cancer. Although she appeared in several films and television productions, Miriam remains the role most closely associated with her career. Miriam serves as a bridge between Moses and his true heritage. Her steadfast faith and devotion added emotional depth to the story and highlighted the importance of family throughout the epic journey. Aaron was played by John Carradine, who was born in 1906 in New York City. At age 50 during the film's release, he brought wisdom, dignity, and spiritual authority to the role of Moses' brother. John Carradine passed away in 1988 at the age of 82 due to complications related to surgery. A prolific actor, he appeared in hundreds of films and television productions across a career spanning more than 6 decades. Aaron stood beside Moses during some of the story's most dramatic moments. Carradine's performance helped convey the strength of faith and leadership that remained central to the film's enduring legacy. Nefertiti was played by Ann Baxter, who was born in 1923 in Michigan City, Indiana. At 33 years old during the film's 1956 release, she brought beauty, ambition, and emotional complexity to the Egyptian princess who loved Moses. Ann Baxter passed away in 1985 at the age of 62 after suffering a stroke. An Academy Award-winning actress, she enjoyed a distinguished career in film, television, and theater spanning more than 4 decades. Nefertiti's love for Moses fueled some of the story's most powerful emotional conflicts. Her struggle between love, loyalty, and power added a deeply human element to the film's grand epic scale. Abiram was played by Frank DeCova, who was born in 1910 in New York City. At age 46 during the film's release, he brought cunning, greed, and ruthless ambition to one of the story's most troublesome figures. Frank DeCova passed away in 1981 at the age of 70. Throughout his career, he became known for portraying powerful and often intimidating characters in film and television. Abiram represented the dangers of selfish ambition and betrayal. His actions intensified the challenges faced by Moses and helped drive many of the dramatic confrontations that shaped the story. Janus was played by Douglas Dumbrill, who was born in 1889 in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. He was 67 years old when The Ten Commandments was released, portraying one of Pharaoh's chief advisors and magicians. Douglas Dumbrille passed away in 1974 at the age of 84 after a long and successful acting career. He appeared in hundreds of films, becoming one of Hollywood's most dependable character actors. Janus stood among those who challenged Moses at Pharaoh's court. His role helped emphasize the growing conflict between earthly power and divine purpose that lies at the heart of the film. Pentor was played by Henry Wilcoxon, who was born in 1905 in Roseau, Dominica. At 51 years old during the film's 1956 release, he brought authority, wisdom, and ceremonial dignity to the High Priest of Egypt. Henry Wilcoxon passed away in 1984 at the age of 79 due to cancer. Beyond acting, he worked closely with legendary director Cecil B. DeMille and became a familiar face in many epic Hollywood productions. Pentor represented the religious power structure of ancient Egypt. His presence helped reinforce the film's themes of faith, authority, and the clash between competing beliefs. Jethro was played by Eduard Franz, who was born in 1902 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He was 54 years old when the Ten Commandments was released, portraying the wise Midianite shepherd who welcomed Moses into his family. Eduard Franz passed away in 1983 at the age of 81 from heart failure. Throughout his career, he appeared in numerous films and television programs, often portraying thoughtful and respected authority figures. Jethro offered Moses guidance during one of the most important turning points in his life. His wisdom and compassion helped shape the leader Moses would eventually become. Maynard was played by Donald Curtis, who was born in 1915 in Cheney, Washington. At age 41 during the film's release, he brought courage, loyalty, and determination to one of the Hebrew leaders. Donald Curtis passed away in 1997 at the age of 81 from natural causes. In addition to acting, he later worked successfully in real estate while remaining part of Hollywood's classic era. Maynard stood among those who dreamed of freedom from oppression. His role helped illustrate the collective struggle and perseverance that remained central to the film's powerful story. Herb Ben Caleb was played by Lawrence Dobkin, who was born in 1919 in New York City. At 37 years old during the film's 1956 release, he brought strength, conviction, and leadership to one of the Hebrew elders. Lawrence Dobkin passed away in 2002 at the age of 83 from heart failure. Beyond acting, he enjoyed a successful career as a television director, writer, and producer across several decades. Herb Ben Caleb represented the resilience of a people longing for freedom. His presence helped emphasize the unity and determination that carried the Israelites through their greatest challenges. Aminadab was played by H.B. Warner, who was born in 1875 in London, England. He was 81 years old when the Ten Commandments was released, bringing wisdom, faith, and quiet dignity to the elderly Hebrew leader. H.B. Warner passed away in 1958 at the age of 82 from pneumonia. A veteran of both silent films and sound pictures, he enjoyed one of the longest and most distinguished careers of Hollywood's early generations. Aminadab served as a spiritual voice among the Hebrew people. His unwavering faith reinforced the film's central message that hope can endure even through the darkest hardships. Elisheba was played by Julia Fay, who was born in 1893 in Richmond, Virginia. At 63 years old during the film's release, she brought warmth, devotion, and compassion to the role of Aaron's wife. Julia Fay passed away in 1966 at the age of 73 from cancer. A longtime collaborator of Cecil B. DeMille, she appeared in many of his productions and became a familiar presence in Hollywood epics. Though not among the film's most prominent characters, Elisheba helped strengthen the story's sense of family and community. Her presence added another layer of humanity to the sweeping biblical narrative. Jethro's daughter was played by Lisa Mitchell, who was born in 1935 in New York City. At 21 years old during the film's 1956 release, she brought grace, warmth, and youthful charm to the Midianite family. Lisa Mitchell passed away in 2007 at the age of 72 after a long illness. Although her screen career was relatively brief, she remained part of one of Hollywood's most celebrated biblical epics. The scenes in Midian offered a peaceful contrast to the grandeur of Egypt. Characters like Jethro's daughter helped create the sense of family and belonging that shaped Moses' journey. Ramesses was played by Yul Brynner, who was born in 1920 in Vladivostok, Russia. At 36 years old during the film's 1956 release, he brought power, pride, and commanding presence to Moses' greatest rival. Yul Brynner passed away in 1985 at the age of 65 from lung cancer. One of Hollywood's most iconic stars, he earned worldwide acclaim through film, theater, and his legendary portrayal of the King of Siam. The conflict between Moses and Ramesses became the driving force behind the entire epic. Brynner's unforgettable performance helped create one of cinema's greatest rivalries and elevated the film to legendary status. Lilia was played by Debra Paget, who was born in 1933 in Denver, Colorado. At 23 years old during the film's release, she brought beauty, innocence, and emotional warmth to one of the story's most sympathetic characters. Nowadays, Debra Paget is 92 years old. During Hollywood's golden age, she became one of the era's most admired actresses and appeared in numerous successful films alongside many of cinema's biggest stars. Lilia's story added tenderness to a film filled with monumental events and powerful conflicts. Her presence reminded audiences that even the grandest epics are ultimately built upon human relationships and emotions. Though every member of this legendary cast has now passed on, their performances continue to captivate audiences around the world. Tell us which character you remember most, and subscribe to Golden Greats for more journeys through the stars, stories, and timeless classics of Hollywood's golden era.